Shadow of the Tomb Raider launched just last month on September 14th, 2018, and the general consensus out there is that the game is it's alright. Nobody's singing praise here and back, but people generally seem to have enjoyed it, even if it's middling and does fall short in certain aspects. Suffice to say that the game hasn't made a huge splash though, not in the way the first game in the rebooted trilogy did. The result is that when it comes to physical sales in the UK, Shadow of the Tomb Raider performed 70% less than the first game did, and while it is likely that it has in part to do with digital purchases becoming much more prominent these days than physical ones, that level of disparity usually also indicates overall sales will be down across the board. Another good indicator of the game's commercial performance is how long it takes for it to go on sale, and Shadow of the Tomb Raider went on sale a mere 6 weeks after its release, which didn't sit well with early adopters. To be more specific, the game's standard edition was discounted by 34%, while the higher tier Croft edition was discounted by 47%. The sale has ended as of the publishing of this video, as it was only meant to be a week-long sale. But still, there were a lot of people who bought the game at launch and felt as though they were cheated, as they had paid full price only to realize that they could have bought the game for much cheaper had they waited or been warned about potential discounts. In response, a significant number of people took to Steam in order to review bomb the game. As you can see on the Steam chart here, during the week-long period in which the game went on sale, there was a sudden spike of negative reviews, resulting in the game's overall rating to go from positive to mixed. On one hand, I do understand why some might be frustrated at the feeling of having spent more money than they could have. I myself have been in a scenario where I bought a product only for it to be discounted shortly after my purchase, but long after the refund period has expired, and it definitely pained me to think about the money I could have saved had I just waited a little bit. But it is important to keep in mind that when you buy any product at launch, you're pretty much guaranteed to pay the highest possible price tag for it. That's just what you sign up for when you buy something on day one, and it's only after that first wave dies down that publishers will consider discounting their games to boost dwindling sales. Now, Shadow of the Tomb Raider did admittedly go on sale rather soon. Many people would have happily waited 6 weeks if it meant saving $20 on the standard edition or $40 on the Croft edition. However, how well a game sells, which ultimately dictates when it goes on sale and how much the price is cut, isn't something that companies can fully control. They can invest in marketing and do their best to boost those margins, but how well a product ultimately performs is left to the whims of the consumers and their level of interest. From the looks of it, Shadow of the Tomb Raider seemingly did not draw enough attention to sell satisfactorily, and to mitigate that, it was decided behind the scenes that the game should go on sale to give it a bit of a boost. You know, when you're trying to consider when to buy a game if you're mindful of future discounts, it really is a bit of a gamble. Some games sell really well and go months or even years on end without any price change, save for maybe certain holidays. In this scenario, you might wait and wait for the price to drop, only to realize that it's still full price, in which case you wasted time by not just buying the game right at launch. Other games will end up falling short of sales expectations, and if you can foresee this happening, you might be able to wait things out and get it at a cheaper price point a mere few weeks later. But if you fail to foresee poor sales and think the game won't be discounted for a long time, you might find yourself frustrated, realizing that you could have waited a few weeks and save a decent amount of money. You really never know which way the wind will blow with some of these titles. It's often hard to know whether waiting will end up making no difference or if waiting will save you some cash. In the case of Shadow of the Tomb Raider, though, it just happened to be that it sold poorly enough to possibly warrant a major week-long sale. As frustrating as this can be for consumers, I cannot say that this is good cause for review bombing a pretty decent game. This was really a question of economics and of supply versus demand, rather than a company going out of their way to intentionally cheat early adopters and squeeze them dry. Had the game sold well, the game would have likely continued to remain full price for months. Granted, the poor timing and the extent of the discounts might give off the wrong impression, so perhaps it would have been more prudent for Square Enix to wait a couple more weeks before springing up the discounts. But as a consumer, one thing to always be mindful of is that you will certainly be paying the highest price for anything you pre-order or purchase during a game's launch day, launch week, and even launch month, with a chance of a rapid fire sale shortly thereafter. If you're tight on money, the best thing you can do is get in the habit of maybe waiting a month or two or wait for a holiday in case of a price drop. And it isn't just games that work this way. Any product on the market right now will undergo a similar cycle. These are just one man's perspective anyway. I'd love to hear what your take is on Shadow of the Tomb Raider's discount and the review bombing in the comments below. With that, I would like to end this news update. Thank you for tuning in. If you enjoy my content and would like to support this channel directly, consider donating on Patreon. And to be further updated on all things gaming news, reviews, and discussions, stay tuned right here on Yong Yeah. I'll see you guys next time. Yong out.